I'm your host, Jeff Sart. We're going to take you behind the scenes with the craft distillers who are pouring their heart and soul into crafting the next version of America's spirit. This is the Great American Whiskey Cookers.
How many barrels are you producing a day, a week, a month?
So here we usually base things off of a month. I mean, everyone's got their own strategy. So what we're doing right now is 200 barrels per month. We've gone anywhere from 150 to 200. We can kind of scale up or down as needed, which is kind of interesting. But yeah, right now we're set up to go 200 barrels per month, and it keeps us moving.
So how many days are you distilling then?
So we start up Sunday at 2 p.m. and then we end Friday at 10 p.m. and we go through the night. So we're basically a 24 by 5.5 operation, if you will. And that gets us what we need to get to 200 barrels per month. We've talked about at some point going to a 24 by 7 operation. I'm trying to avoid that if possible, because you need a lot of time to kind of shut down, reset things, get them cleaned up and fire them back up. But once you get things moving, you want to keep them hot. And that's why we go through the night. So I would rather do a 24-hour operation than shut things down and go 7 days a week, maybe 18 hours or something like that. I want to keep things hot, keep things moving, because that's when you're most efficient.
So how many distillers do you have working for you?
So we have 3 shift distillers and then 1 distillery manager, a guy named John Rupp, who's very talented. So he oversees the team of distillers, keeps them scheduled, keeps them moving, and those 3 distillers each have their own shift. So we've got first shift, second shift, third shift.
Fantastic. Yeah, that's great. So when you're distilling and you're getting ready to barrel it, are you chill filtering, non-chill filtered? Whiskey geeks want to know this. It's kind of a big deal for whiskey geeks. Right?
Absolutely. So it just kind of depends. For the most part, I try to avoid chill filtration. I don't really have a horse in that race. I see pros and cons from it. For some of our blended products, like blends of bourbon and rye, we will chill filter those because they'll throw a haze. They'll start to bond, especially if they're below 92 proof. But for the most part, we don't do chill filter. Like our straight bourbon is non-chill filtered. Our quintessential single malt is non-chill filtered. So we do a little bit of both, but when possible, I try to avoid it just because a lot of the whiskey geeks, a lot of the whiskey purists like myself, they like to see that on a label.
Are you doing your bottling here?
Yep. We do all the bottling here. As a matter of fact, we're about to move it from one building over to another. One thing that you'll see at Cedar Ridge is we're constantly moving things from point A to point B to try to be more efficient, because we're on this property out here and we always have to find ways to grow with what we have. So we're always kind of moving things around. But yes, we do. We do all of our bottling here at Cedar Ridge. We're going 5 days a week on packaging right now, and it's crazy. Yeah.
And I noticed you're not using a pallet system, at least in this one.
Yeah.
Right? This looks like a fairly kind of a traditional method.
That's right. So this is how we're dedicated to doing it here. I, a while back, actually worked at another distillery, a really awesome place, and I was working there when they went from horizontal barrels to vertical barrel storage on pallets. So I got to see that change, and I think it's really neat. I don't think it's any sort of a negative to do vertically. We want to do things horizontally here just because of the feel it gives. Mm-hmm. You know, when you sit in a room like this and you do an interview or a tour or whatever, it just has a certain look that I think people like to see. I will say that it is definitely more efficient from a logistical side of things to have them on pallets so that you can easily pull them in and out. We do barrels 10 barrels deep in our racks, so to get to the one all the way in the back takes actually a fairly significant amount of work.
Yep.
And that's not always popular.